Today, we're painting one of the most fascinating snakes of the tropical rainforest, the eyelash viper. These snakes are famous for their tiny scales above their eyes, which makes them look like they have eyelashes, which is exactly where their name comes from. Eyelash vipers actually come in a surprising range of colors, including green, orange, red, and bright yellow. Today, we're painting the golden yellow morph, one of the most striking ones found in the forests of Central and South America. As always with nature journaling, the goal is not perfection, it's observation, curiosity, and letting watercolor do what watercolor does best. So, let's start painting. Before we start painting, I'm going to transfer the outline of the eyelash viper onto the paper. I've placed a sheet of carbon transfer paper underneath the outline and I'm lightly tracing the drawing. This lets the image transfer onto the watercolor paper without having to redraw everything from scratch. I'll have this exact outline available as a free printable download in the description, so if you'd like to paint along with me, you can grab it there. Sometimes when we try to draw an animal from scratch, we can get stuck trying to make the shape just perfect. Using an outline like this helps us move past that step so that we can focus on the joyful part of watercolor and just painting itself. So, if you feel confident drawing, please use outline as a guide more than anything and enjoy your full process of creating this art piece. Nature journaling isn't about perfection, it's about observing, learning, and enjoying the process of creation. Time to start the part I'm always excited to get into, the watercoloring. Most artists have a particular start point, like some start with the dark values, others the light, some start with the subject in the foreground, and I like to start with the lightest values in the background. So that's why you see me laying down a loose background wash using blues and greens here. The loose wash of blue and green helps create the feeling of a soft rainforest environment before we even paint the snake. I'm letting the colors bleed into each other naturally. Watercolor is beautiful because it creates these organic transitions that are almost impossible to control perfectly, and that's part of the charm. Let's start bringing the eyelash viper to life with the first wash of yellow. This layer is very diluted, mostly water with just a little pigment. Eyelash vipers actually come in several colors including green, orange, and even pinkish tones. But the yellow morph is one of the most iconic and striking. These lighter areas will become our natural highlights, which help the snake feel round and dimensional later. The first wash of yellow is just a way of spreading the water all around the snake so that we can go back with a wet on wet technique and add darker areas of yellow. For those darker or shaded areas, I like to go in with a more ochre yellow color and try to bring out those folds and undulations as best as possible. Instead of outlining the snake, I place darker tones along the undersides of the coils and where the body overlaps. This mimics how light would fall across a real snake resting on a branch. Okay, let's let these layers dry a bit, and then in the meantime, lay in the first layer of color to the branches and the surrounding foliage, starting with a wash of light brown and layering deep brown on the bottom of the branch. At first, it'll look a bit like a gradient going from light to dark. Then, let's bring that branch to life a bit with some brown shading wherever the snake might cast a shadow with a deeper brown along the edges of where the snake actually touches the branches. On the topic of shading, the snake should be more dry now, so let's deepen those shadows even more so. I also like to use a clean, damp brush to go over any hard lines to soften them a bit. I'm just gonna lay in the pupils of the eyes while working on the shading of the head here. And then with the same deep color brown from the eyes, I'm going to do a light outline and deepen the folds even more. So since this viper has scales, and we won't be laying in all of those scales, we're going to hint at it later. I'm going to start here with like a slight flick of the brush along the neckline. It's just to kind of mimic the scales. After you lay in the darker brown at the edges and the folds, you can go back with a clean damp brush and soften any lines that might come up. Sometimes I go too far with the color, and what I love about watercolor is how forgiving it can be. Just clean your brush, and with a clean damp brush, you can pick up any colors that you laid in and that you maybe don't love so much. Eyelash viper snakes are arboreal, meaning that they spend most of their lives in trees and shrubs rather than on the forest floor. And they often rest on branches exactly like this one while they're waiting for prey. So when starting to layer in the moss on the branch, have fun tapping the top of the brush with different tones of green and allow them to drape a bit off the branch. Have fun here with different tonalities and of the values here. Some areas can have a deeper, darker moss color than others. Some might have some lighter green. Then, after layering deeper splotches of dark green, I like to go back and layer in an even deeper pigment in small dots all along the edges of the green splotches. I feel like it gives me a very organic line to follow to put in some detail of the hanging moss. Now I'm adding the eye and the facial features, which is often the moment when the animal really comes to life. Eyelash vipers have vertical slit pupils similar to a cat. This helps them see better in low light because they're mostly nocturnal hunters. A tiny bit of dark pigment and a highlight can make a huge difference here. You can certainly stop here if you like, but I wanted to see how things might look to hint at the scales, so I'm going to go in with an acrylic white marker here. Hindsight, I think something with a finer tip would have been better, but it's okay. I'm rolling with it. Then I'm using my fine tip black marker to bring out the details of the eyes. And well, off camera, I played with the idea of diamond scales, so you'll see those hinted at on top of some of these white acrylic marker lines. Definitely an area I would like to keep working on, but for today, that's where I'm leaving it. If you're adding the snake to your nature journal, don't forget to add some labels and notes to your work. And of course, after labeling with Eyelash Viper, I realized I forgot to set in those scales above the eyes that look like eyelashes, the most pivotal detail of this particular snake. So 2 small upside down V shapes help to bring that Eyelash Viper scales to life. And there we have our yellow Eyelash Viper. One of the things I love most about nature journaling is that it encourages us to slow down and really observe the incredible creatures that share our world. Thanks for painting with me today, and next time we'll explore another fascinating creature from the tropical natural world. Until then, keep observing, keep painting, and keep your curiosity wild.